All right. Hello. Good morning. Well, it's morning here. This is my friend Trisha, my best friend Trisha. So we are old military friends and we are social distancing. Yes. We're excited for this yoga class. We've been planning this for a while. Now it's a perfect time. This class, I was supposed to do this class actually for the YMCA, but the live stream didn't quite work. So if you're watching this from the Y, sorry about that. But now you have it in forever. I was trying to use a big word. I really shouldn't do that. It's too early for the big words. So put your coffee cup down, get outside if you can to watch this. Push pause, go outside if you can, get in the earth. We all need to be grounded nowadays, right? We are ungrounded. We're feeling a little wobbly in the world. Get outside if it's possible at all. If not, imagine you're outside. That'll have to do. Make sure you have a strap with you of any kind. You know these TheraBands? I know you have them from physical therapy. Grab them. You can use them. A towel, a tie, anything works. Make sure you have a little water nearby, maybe a towel nearby, and we're going to get started. So we're going to start standing, which is not something I normally do, but on this beautiful day, it feels like the right thing. So let's find where we are. Let's notice where we are on this earth, literally in time and space. So for me, it is a Monday. For you, it could be any day. But every day that we practice yoga and choose to come to the mat is a day that we get to come home to ourselves. And so whether you're practicing at home or out in your yard or traveling and practicing, we carry our homes with us wherever we are. And yoga is an excellent practice to remember that just like turtles, we carry our homes with us, and we can always reposition, right? Reposition ourselves back home, remembering that we are the thing that's coming through the world. We are the experience in the world. And the more we can be fully present in our bodies, in these homes that we call the human body, then the more fully alive, kind, compassionate, connected the world will be. So let's find our feet. Let's lift our toes up just to start. Maybe spread the toes, energetically spread the toes, even if they don't move. And then of course, grounding. The big toe is an especially strong grounding wire into the earth. So can you really find that experience of the big toe? And then the pinky toes, the rest of the toes, even looking down, right? Look at all your toes, notice where they are on the mat. Really see where your feet are standing. Notice if you need to make some slight adjustments here to feel more grounded, more stable through the feet. And then let's just go ahead and rock forward and back here. Nice and slow, rocking into the soles of the feet. Ooh, rocking back to the heels. If you catch yourself a little bit, that's good. Turning on the vestibular system. And then let's go ahead and rock right and left. Heavy, can you drop heaviness back into the legs? So getting out of all this stuff up here that we carry, the baggage we don't need, let it go. The earth is a great conductor of energy. And if we can sort of release some of that down into the earth, we feel more in balance and connected. And then let's go ahead and just bring our arms nice and wide. Inhaling, bringing our arms overhead. Take a nice big morning stretch, reaching for the heavens, if you will, reaching the feet through the earth, breathing the belly wide. Exhaling, just slowly bring the hands to heart center. So starting to link our movement to our breath. Inhaling, extending the arms, taking up a lot of space here. Exhaling, nice and slow, dropping just the hands down to heart center. One more time, big inhale. As we exhale, the hands and the breath drop back in towards the body more intentionally. And so just slowly finding this prayer arm flow, putting the breath before the movement. So just slowing it down, allowing the shoulders, the jaws, the face to stay relaxed. You may want to start to add in a chair on the exhale. So just bending the knees, really put some weight into the feet. Inhaling, flowing the arms high. Exhaling, sinking again, heavy into the feet and the legs. Maybe adding an Ujjayi breath. That is our Darth Vader, we call it warrior's breath, ocean breath. Imagine breathing through 2 straws stuck into your nose. So you're making an audible breath, forcing the breath over the back of the throat. On the exhale, as if we're fogging a mirror up with our mouth closed. It's increasing our vagus nerve activation here, turning on our vagus nerve in the back of the throat. So it's forcing the breath over that. The vagus nerve turns on a very strong system of awareness within us called our parasympathetic that we want to move through our practice with. You can be in sympathetic and parasympathetic at the same time. So one more time. And then let's go ahead and step the legs wide. So let's step our right foot out. So we'll turn towards the house, Trisha. Turning the knees towards the toes. And I'm sorry that I'm not facing you. This is what it looks like, so you guys know. Inhaling the arms nice and wide, 5-pointed star. Exhaling, bigger leg movement as we bend the elbows, stronger through the arms here. So inhaling and exhaling again, linking our movement to our breath. And as we start to flow here with our feet really grounded, making sure you can still lift your toes a little bit, making sure that you can see your big toes. So maybe just looking down, making sure that our feet are just the right width for us, protecting our knees, of course. Maybe feeling our hips a little bit heavier, so a little bit more grounding through the pelvic floor. So the grounding wire is not just through the big toe, but it runs up through the inner thighs into the pelvic floor, up through the spine, through the psoas. So really finding that grounding wire through the whole body, through that central line of the whole body. If you want to, you can start to hinge from the hips, reaching down, moving into, we call them our sunflowers. We can call them picking up something and throwing them into the air. So you could say flowers, you could say water, you can say I'm picking up all the gratitude, right? I'm picking up all the compassion and love, sending it out to everybody. Continuing to link our breath to our movement. You may need to move a little faster or a little slower based on how you're feeling today. Continuing to find our Ujjayi breath. One more time. Then just warming up the big muscles of the body. And then we'll just simply step forward again to the front of our mat, back to mountain pose. Reestablishing our base through our feet, bending our knees a little bit. Let's draw our shoulders by the ears just a few times and down the back, just letting all of that go in the neck, the shoulders, the jaws. Again, it feels so good, allowing the front of the shoulders to really soften and relax as we expand the chest open. Nice. And then again, inhaling, extended mountain. Exhaling, swan dive, forward fold with our knees bent, hip hinge. If you need to use blocks here, those are really handy to have. Head nice and relaxed. Inhaling, halfway up, monkey pose. Again, breathing the belly, the chest long. Exhaling back into a forward fold. Let's just simply step the left foot back. Coming into our lunge. Option to drop the back knee down on this one, the first one. You don't have to. Top of the foot comes to the mat if you can. You can also wait or put something underneath your knee if you need to. And again, ground it through the legs, distributing that weight evenly. Let's just inhale, start to flow here. Nice big breath, breathing the belly, the chest, nice and open. Exhaling, hands are gonna come down. Let's just pause right here for just a second. Reestablish that grounding feeling. And again, inhaling, extending the arms open. Pause here. On this one, let's exhale slowly as we shift the hips back, come into chest expansion. If it's okay with your knees, and then we'll flow from here. Inhaling, reaching high. Thumbs stay soft though. Exhaling, chest expansion, lifting through the back of the heart. Inhaling, flowing forward, stay lifted through the pelvic floor. Exhaling, gently coming back, again, lifting through the heart. One more time, one more big breath. And this time, exhaling, hands on either side. We're gonna simply step forward, back to a forward fold. So it's tucking the back toes, back into our mountain. Inhaling, halfway up. Exhaling, sinking, heels heavy. Inhaling, reversing our swan dive, so nice and slow. Moving with tons of intention. Exhaling, let's just bring our hands to heart center, pausing here. Take a mindful breath. Again, just enjoying the experience of being alive, moving our bodies through time and space in this connected way. That alone is powerful to reset our nervous system, to bring us back into homeostasis. Other side, inhaling, extend the mountain. Exhaling, big swan dive, forward fold, lifting through the front of the thighs. Inhaling, halfway up, and we're just gonna step back with the right foot. So taking a nice big step back. Let's drop our right knee down. Again, pausing here, making sure your knee is over your ankle, right? So again, where our bodies are in time and space is important. Over time, we get better at it as we practice our yoga, but at first we may not know, we may not be aware where they are. And slowly, again, if we're flowing, inhaling, this first one, let's just find that back line of energy from the top of the back foot up through the back of the spine, through the back of the head. Can we clear that energetic space through the neck? Exhaling, let's float the hands down. If we need to reset here, so this feels better for the knee, whatever we're doing, go ahead. Remember, we can lift the back knee up. And now we flow. So grounded to the left foot more intentionally. This time, exhaling, shift the hips back, chest expansion. Inhaling, sending the arms up, flowing with our breath. Exhaling, lifting through the tailbone a little bit. Inhaling, breathing the sideways long. Exhaling, continuing at your own pace. Again, Ujjayi breath is wonderful to practice anytime really as we're flowing. And one more time, slowly bringing the hands, floating on either side, tucking the back toes. Let's step the back foot to the front. Inhaling halfway up. Exhaling a forward fold, belly to the thighs, heavy heels, relax through the neck here for just a second. Let's just slowly pedal the legs here. So we'll just straighten the left leg, right knee stays bent. Just breathing awareness down the back of the leg, down the side of the leg. Again, we get kind of gunked up in our legs as they're trying to clear the energetic waste from the body. All that stress, pouring it down the left leg. And then let's just slowly switch sides. So left knee bends, right leg nice and straight and heavy. Again, from the right hip bone, even down to the side of the leg, even through the back of the hamstring, energetically bringing that into our awareness. And then releasing both knees bent. Let's just walk our hands up to our thighs. So we're just gonna come halfway up here. We'll draw the shoulders strongly by the ears, just like we did when we were standing, and then back down. So we're clearing it, and notice the neck could easily turn here if we wanted it to. More into the feet. So I say it's like trying to stretch the mat apart with the feet, energetically finding that stronger connection through the legs. Option is to sweep one hand and then the other back behind, reaching through the fingers, soft through the thumbs. Now we're gonna sit back into the heels here, scoop up through the low belly, and then bring the arms forward to some degree, either here. Option to turn the pinky sides of the hands in towards one another, set the shoulder blades back, reclaim the legs here, and then slowly, with that big connection to the back, sit back into our chair, but connected through the whole back so we don't drop into the back waist, right? We feel that strength work through the back. Make sure we can see the toes, lift the toes here. I know this is hard work, sit just a little bit lower maybe, and then slowly up into extended mountain, chest expansion, bending the elbows, we can stay here. Again, breathing the heart open. Option, turn the hands towards one another. If you have a strap, wonderful way to do this a little bit more modified, wrap the strap around the palms of the hands. So choices. You know, it's not what we do in our practice, it's the path we get to that choice. And we're doing it from a place of feeling and connection. That's a big victory in the mind. And then we can do that out in the world. We can make better decisions, right? When the going gets tough, what do? So take a big breath into the chest, releasing all those good chemicals, and then releasing. You have the strap, just move it to the side. Inhaling, extended mountain. Exhaling, forward fold. Maybe finding our Ujjayi breath again. Inhaling, halfway up. Exhaling, let's go ahead and take a step back with the left leg. This time, option to keep the knee up. So making sure we're on railroad tracks, not on a tightrope, so we feel nice and steady. Putting more weight into the back leg. Walking the hands up to the thigh. Let's just take our left hand to our left thigh, just gently reminding it to reach back. So there's a slight inner spiral to the left thigh. Scoop up through the low belly. And let's just take our left hand only up into the air. Right hand can root down. Remember, back knee can be down. So let's take a nice long line of awareness, even from the left foot up to the inner left thigh, even to the side of the spine. Maybe a little bit of lateral flexion here. Remember that grounding wire? Can we feel that energetic middle place within us? Not through the legs now, they're grounded, they're stable, foundation, but then that grounding wire facilitates sort of a suspension bridge or a suspension system within us in the middle, right? Where we have a little bit of movement there. One more big breath, inhaling, exhaling. Let's just take a simple twist. So left hand to the floor or to the block. Remember, back knee can be down. Right hand roots down to the right thigh as we twist, or right arm reaches up. Clearing the line from the side of the neck up through the thumb. Beautiful. Can we reach stronger through the back heel? Can we feel more grounded through the right foot? And then exhaling, hands on either side. This time we're going to step the right foot back to a downward dog. Option is for extended child's pose. So you can always bring your knees to the ground. Now, So in downward dog, we start with shoulders, or hands shoulder distance, feet hip distance. And let's just pedal the legs here nice and slow. So alternating our knee bend, super slow. Remember to clear those back lines. Can you feel that? All right, so we did that pedaling at the front of our mat in a forward fold, really focusing on opening and releasing anything through the back of the legs here. And then let's bring our knees to the ground. So our vinyasa will actually be cat-cow just for this time. So as we place the hands, really grounding them, let's drop the hips, wrap the elbows into one another, creating a shelf with the arms, and then bring the chest through that shelf as we pull the mat back with the hands. Again, can you release the shoulder blades down the back a little bit, clear the neck. So now we're in cow pose. Breathe the sits bones open and apart. And then exhale, let's reverse that. Press the mat with the hands, rounding through the back, scoop the belly. Let the neck relax though. Take a nice big breath through the back of the body. And then reversing, if you want to tuck the toes for cow, drop the hips. Right, a lot of awareness as we move into our cow, really intentionally. Can we breathe the collarbones, the sides of the neck, the base of the throat, nice and soft and open. Exhale, let's flow with our breath. As you float to cat, maybe top of the feet, come to the mat, feel the difference. Again, finding a more fluid approach to our practice as we continue to flow here, inhaling and exhaling, allowing our breath to help us to find a new path in our movement. One that stays relaxed through our neck and our shoulders. One that stays soft and open through our heart, yet grounded and connected to the strength of who we are. One more time, option to tuck the toes, coming back to our downward facing dog. As we come to downward facing dog, we're just pedaling the legs here, and we're just going to keep on pedaling till we come to the front of our mat. Just walk it forward. Again, knees bent one more time, head heavy, nice and relaxed, letting it all go. Inhaling halfway up. Again, breathing the belly, the heart open. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, dropping the hips, bending the knees. Inhaling into our chair. So we're coming back to chair just a little differently here. Option hands to heart center. Option bringing the arms out in front. Again, sinking the hips a little lower, making sure the toes, right, nice and light, and then relax them back down to the mat. One more big breath. And again, inhaling, extended mountain. Exhaling, chest expansion. Again, option to clasp the hands, option to use a strap. Walking the feet a little wider than hip distance. A couple of choices. We can stay right here. We can use a strap, or we can come forward into some kind of forward fold, option with chest expansion. Now, knees bent a ton. If this is bothering your shoulders, just release the hands. Just come to a forward fold without it. Again, your choice. If you want to in chest expansion here, let's bend the right knee and just gently turn the left shoulder towards the right knee. Just doing something different, clearing that left leg. Slowly switching sides. So right leg straightens, left knee bends. Again, nice and slow. And then releasing our hands. Pausing here, belly to the thighs. Let's just shake it out side to side, sway it out. So nice and slow, the whole body moving as if in water, kind of getting gently pulled by those tidal rhythms, getting out of that kind of linear mindset in our practice and finding more fluidity when we can. And then let's pause as we sway heavy over to the left leg, unweighting the right foot, stepping it back. So just switching sides. Finding our parallel legs, options, right? Choices, we all have choices. Left hand roots down, taking our right hand, let's just gently encourage the right leg to anchor more back, and then slowly extending the right arm into the air. Again, breathing this whole right side nice and open, finding the release through the right hip flexor, making sure we're staying grounded through the feet. Again, feeling that suspension bridge right through the center of us, right? As you walk across the suspension bridge, it kind of wobbles and moves, right? And so as we find that, we find a non-rigid or a gripping approach to our practice, right? One that feels a lot more connected. And then slowly release. Let's take a twist. The right hand comes down, left hand roots down to the left thigh. Option to extend the left arm. Again, continuing to connect to the chair. allowing the neck, the shoulders to stay nice and relaxed. And then slowly releasing, we're gonna go ahead and step the left foot back to the right, back to our downward dog. Again, just pedaling it out. This time as we shift forward, let's go ahead and come to our kneeling plank. Now you have cat-cow that we just did as our option for our float, right? Otherwise, we're gonna shift slightly more forward to the shoulders, hug the elbows in, create that shelf-like approach. Draw the hip bones towards one another, so broadening across the sacrum. And then we're gonna lower super slow, hovercraft-like, all the way to the ground. Just walk the hip bones back. Let's find the top of the feet. Inhaling from the low belly as we anchor through the legs, come up into a gentle cobra. Again, shoulders relax down, neck is clear. Exhaling, forehead towards the earth. Melt everything in. The belly, the legs, completely relax with gravity. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling gently to cobra. Again, expanding through our heart center, softening through the throat. Exhaling back towards the earth. One last time. Let's just come halfway up here in our cobra, not as high as we could, just halfway. Let's reset the hands. Let's press the knees, scoop the belly, hug the triceps in, even through the hands. So nice and strong here, calmly pressing up into our kneeling plank, back into extended child's pose. And let's just go ahead and rest in child's pose for just a moment. Maybe take a sip of water if we need it, especially if you're outside.
Beautiful day.
I know.
This is hot yoga right here.
I placed Trisha directly in the sun, so she asked for the hot yoga. She paid more for it. She's good. Oh, so let's just find our forehead to our hands, wipe our brow, swipe our brow. Hips heavy, and let's shift into this turtle-like shell. So instead of child's pose, let's think, what if we were a turtle? What does a turtle do when it goes into its shell, right? You know, have you ever thought about that? Does it go into it in fear? It goes into it in sleep? It goes into a heel? We do the same thing, right? This posture can facilitate lots of emotional postures in our life, and we come to it in different ways. It's the way we come into it that determines the posture's outcome. So let's see if we can find a different outcome here. One that's more connected, feels at home in this turtle shell of our bodies, right? This is our home. Can we feel safe here? Knowing we're protected, knowing that everything that's happening around us is serving a purpose in our life somehow. Difficulty is for everyone right now. It's not a unique, only you are experiencing it, everyone is. And how we approach it is gonna be the difference in the outcome. So what can we cultivate here? What strength, resiliency, determination, confidence as we come into this difficult time and we bring ourselves into it in a different way, we will get a different outcome, a better one, a more positive one. When we're ready, extend your arms nice and long. Remember, we can come back to turtle pose, child's pose anytime. Extended child's pose is the option for down dog. You can also bring your forearms down if that feels better for your wrist. Otherwise, downward facing dog. And from downward dog, we're just gonna rock just like we did in our forward fold, side to side. So again, finding balance means we get disrupted in our balance, right? How do you know where the center is if you've never been left and right of it, right? And I'm not talking politics, but yes, maybe that also applies. I'm not. But this allows us to listen to all sides, because here's the middle. It's a bigger approach. It's a bigger listening pad. Find that center. You can still feel left and right, yes, but the middle's bigger. It's just more subtle. Find that experience of self. And then let's just go ahead and bring the right foot forward in between our hands. You may have to help it out. Let's go ahead and turn the back foot at a big wide angle. I shouldn't say that. Slightly turned forward. So a wide warrior one. Let's root down through our right hand. Same thing on this side. Let's take our left hand, turn our left thigh, encourage it back, grounding through the other left foot, and then slowly left arm only coming up. So breathing this whole left side nice and long as the right knee stays bent. Now, we can stay here, or we can bring the other arm up. Again, breathing through the thumbs. One big breath of awareness. And then we're gonna slowly turn open into warrior two on the exhale. So exhaling, the back foot turns parallel to the back of the mat, checking our alignment. Yeah. And so wherever, before we go anywhere, we have to know where we are, right? Before we can step forward. And so where we are in the mat is very important. Finding steadiness, but again, that center channel of awareness here through the middle part of the body, that suspension system, right? Through the pelvic floor. So arms up, taking up a lot of space through the arms, back body nice and relaxed and strong. Gaze is soft. So our drishti is our soft focus in our eyes in our yoga practice. So as we soften, notice as we look forward through the middle finger, what starts to become available are options. When we harden our vision, that's a deterministic, almost a pre-programmed path that we've already walked down before we even walked down it. What can we do to back up here, to soften, to take a different approach in our practice? And then we're going to slowly shift forward. We're going to bring our right forearm to our right thigh. Let's take our left hand as we find, we call it Mula Bandha, right? Draw the inner thighs together and scoop the left arm overhead. Pinky side of the hand down. Again, finding awareness to the back body. So more strength through the back body. Turning, if you will, go back to the feet. Kind of turn the right foot, almost like you're opening a jar with the right foot, if you could, open. Really stabilizing through the leg. And then the back foot, we're pressing down through both edges of the feet, especially the back side. So coming into our chest expansion here a little bit as we draw the chest open. Again, finding a different feeling here through the whole body. But can the belly stay nice and relaxed, the chest stay nice and open? And then slowly, let's return as we move slowly back to warrior two. Let's go ahead and turn the right palm up, left hand down. We're going to reach forward and come into reverse warrior, but this time if you want, straighten through the front leg, just to release the hip for just a second. Staying lifted through the back waist, finding lateral flexion here, side body breath, full side body breath. And then slowly coming through, feeling our way the whole way through, right? The in-between is postures too, right? All the way down to triangle pose. Option is to bend the knee a little or a lot. You can even come back into extended angle. Same thing with that front foot, trying to open that up, really setting that right hip, but smoothing out the right hip crease. It's all about the legs in our standing postures. Again, we need more strength in our lives. We need more confidence, determination. When the going gets tough, that's what we have our sympathetic nervous system for. But we don't want to just kind of run around like reptiles. We want to do that from that calm place. So remembering our breath, ujjayi breath, turning on our parasympathetic. And then slowly releasing. As we bend the right knee, we're going to turn our hands on either side of our right foot. We're going to pivot onto the sole of the left foot and gently step back to our downward dog. Probably feels good to just pedal that out right now. And then we're going to have the option for a flow. So inhaling. Remember, cat-cow is a great option. Otherwise, exhaling chaturanga, coming onto our bellies. Inhaling gentle cobra, maybe lifting just a little bit higher, feels good for the back waist, getting into the kidneys too, releasing those. Exhaling back to the earth, hugging the arms in, pressing the knees, scooping the belly. Inhaling, calm strength lifts us up. Exhaling, tucking the toes, downward dog. Let's rock here again. Again, non-linear movement. Maybe bending the knees and taking these slow circles. It doesn't matter which way, with both knees. Feel the hips kind of swimming here. It doesn't have to be big circles. We're just trying to get out of that linear movement. If you got one direction, maybe gently go the other. You might start to feel the belly, the arms. If we can let go of the need to control, you can feel that wave-like function swirling around. And then again, pausing. Left foot slowly coming forward. Back foot flatten at an angle. Left hand to the left thigh. Right hand slowly comes up. Again, a little bit of lateral flexion here. Feel free to adjust that back foot if you feel it in your back knee, right? Making sure we're not collapsing through that back leg. Yep, just like Trisha did, you can shorten your stance up a little bit. You know, we get into a posture and we get into, in our life, that rigid stance, you know, not just on the mat, but in our relationships. Like, I'm not going to yield. I'm not going to give sway. What are we doing? That is not showing true flexibility. Yoga is teaching us to be flexible, aware, and then from that awareness, we can choose a slightly softer but more grounded. It's a stronger posture when you do that, isn't it? Think about that, right? In our lives. I'm talking to myself right now. And then slowly it's going to bring the other arm up. Again, we don't have to bring the hands together. especially if that's restricting our shoulders. I prefer palms turned back a little bit, feeling that strength to the back of the heart, finding more space. And then slowly turn the palms away as we open up to our warrior two. Again, adjusting where our legs, our feet are. Can you feel evenly strong through both legs? The pelvis, and both men and women, men usually need to take a shorter stance here, of course, right? Just different bodies. We need to find that more even approach through the pelvic floor, right? Where we could always do this little kind of trampoline bounce, making sure we're not too rigid, right? Not too set in our posture. And then that gives us all this flexibility that we can go in any direction, right, through the upper body without feeling too stuck here through the shoulders, the neck. Now we come into warrior two. Now, this is an advanced science of yoga where we're cueing drishti, right? What are they saying with us? Well, vision is processed in the back of the head. So as we turn our soft focus over our middle finger, again, we're softening how we see ourselves and the world. We're opening up to that potential state of change that's always available to us. The minute you soften, the minute you come and approach all of our difficulties in our lives from this softer approach, that's the only way you get to see new possibilities. So again, can we see that within ourselves, see ourselves differently? And then slowly shifting forward from this new awareness, left forearm to left thigh, right arm maybe coming overhead or to the right hip. Lots of choices. Where the arm is doesn't really matter. What feels good? Maybe find the awareness from the outer right foot through the whole side body as the shoulders stay relaxed. Again, softening through the face, back of the head, align with the tailbone. One more big breath. And then we're coming back up to warrior two. We're going to turn our left palm. We're going to reach forward and back into reverse warrior with the option to maybe straighten through the front leg for a minute. Grounding of the big toe, that big toe, and you can feel that energetic line up through the whole left side. Remembering our breath. Our breath remembers us. Our breath helps us to remember who we are. It finds all those nooks and crannies, those forgotten places within us. So seeking those out, let the breath, it knows where to go, knows what needs to be watered within us, rehydrated. And then slowly into our triangle pose. So feel free to adjust the legs here, the feet, to make this more stable, right? More connected. If we want to, we don't have to bring our hand overhead. We can bring it to the hip. We can even bring it to the shoulder or to even the back of the head lightly with the fingertips. Lots of options. Making sure that we're aligning the front knee, right, with the second toe if we can. That means that's that turning of the left foot, right, energetically setting that left hip and then pulling the energy from the left hip up through the bottom side of the waist. One more big breath here. Inhale, how much space can you take up? Feel the whole body stretch in all directions. And then exhale, slowly releasing. So left knee bent, hands come on either side, heavy down to the sole of the right foot. And again, one more time, left foot to the right. Some kind of pedaling here, nice and slow, working it out. Maybe alternating as you press one knee bent, the other leg straight. You can feel that through the whole back of the leg, even the opposite hand, right? So as we continue to kind of stretch the body in all dimensions, we find there is stretch to the body, right? We know that through the myofascial connective tissue. And then one more time, inhaling, remember our choices for our vinyasa, knees down, cat-cow option, exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, gentle cobra. Again, finding that awareness to the back body a little stronger. Exhaling, forward, down. Bringing the arms into the body, press the knees, scoop the belly. Slowly inhaling into our tabletop. Exhaling, coming into child's pose. So as we find our wide knee child's pose, knees bent, again, get a drink. You can also have the hips really high here. Big problem in yoga, and it's hard to get out of it, is the knees, right? And there's a lot of compression. So option is to tuck the toes, bring the hips high, right above the knees and forehead to the hands or to a block. This is nice. It gives a lot more room, again, for the belly, a lot more room for the knees, for the ankles. And it facilitates actually an easier, deeper breath here deep in the belly. So let's find that place. Let's allow the breath to be soft and relaxed deep into the pit of the belly. Can you feel that deep part of the belly breathe you, letting go of anything that is impeding that breath, especially through the sides of the belly. Again, the more we relax there, more we swim in calmer waters up in the mind, the top waves at the mind start to calm down. The belly is the beginning of the brain. The literal, actual physical root system of the brain begins in the belly. That's the vagus nerve. It is an actual root system of the brain. And so as you can feel those waters start to clear, it's like creating more space for roots in a garden. Right? We actually think clearer. We also get awesome chemicals that help us to feel better, to make better decisions. GABA, executive functioning chemical, comes from the belly. Serotonin, dopamine, those are all feel-good chemicals from the belly, just from doing this. And then slowly release. We're simply just going to come up onto our knees for camel pose here. So if you need to, go ahead and pad your knees if you want. You can also, if you had a block between the thighs to kind of stabilize through the sacrum, you could do that. So let's go ahead and bring our toes tucked, if that feels a little bit better. Kind of play with what's better for your knees. Find our hips over our knees, and let's bring our fingertips to the inner part of our hip bones. So just find where your hip bones are if you can. Just encouraging that sort of elephant ear wrapping around here of the pelvic floor, so we're not dumping into the low back. Especially if you have back pain, low back pain, that's one of the big culprits, is we kind of are gripping through the low back and the sacrum. So we want to increase that awareness there. Nice. And then let's go ahead and bring our hands to our sternum. So thumbs come to the sternum, palms press, and we're just going to simply press our chest into our hands, into our thumbs to lift up, keeping the chin tucked in here for our camel. Can you feel that lift through the low back? At the same time, can you feel the inner thighs hug towards one another? So press the inner thighs towards one another and then back a little bit, and then continuing to lift through the low back. So it's not a big drop into the low back. Back crushing pose is what full camel is to me for most of us. Not really great. One more big breath here. And then let's go ahead and release. We're gonna actually sit back. Trisha, would you mind handing me one of those eggs? And you can have the other, thank you. Sitting back onto a block or egg, whatever you got, or back onto your heels if it's comfortable. Let's just pause here for just a moment. Let's let our left palm rest into our lap, our right palm over with our thumbs gently touching. Allow the shoulders to relax, the head, belly relaxes just a second. Again, drop the breath on the exhale down into the belly, allowing it to settle there. Oh, it feels so good. I know you can't feel it through the screen, but imagine a nice, perfect breeze right when you need it. Yes, isn't it a sensory experience? I could just get rid of the people on the golf course doing what they're doing. It'd be great. I'm gonna call somebody. Call somebody in charge right now. Right? Don't they know? See, nothing's perfect. You just go with it. You're like, oh wow, they're spraying fertilizer. Oh wow. Okay, let's take alternate nostril breathing before we swing around and come onto our back. So we're going to take our first two fingers of our right hand, or if you're left-handed, you're just going to have to switch this around. I can't cue it opposite. If that doesn't work, if curling your fingers in, because that can be difficult, you can point them towards your third eye, right up to your brow point. That's also fine. We're going to take our thumb to the bridge of our right nostril and close it off. We're going to inhale through the left nostril. Then we're going to close it off and release the right, exhaling. Then we're going to stay right here, inhaling. Closing it off, releasing our left, exhaling. Inhaling. Closing off, releasing, exhaling. One more time, inhaling. Closing off, releasing, exhaling. And then simply releasing, noticing the status of your body, taking a little diagnostic status check around the body. Can you feel a bigger inhale and exhale naturally? Can you feel a more settled feeling? Again, as we practice yoga, it's a practice, a science of reclaiming wholeness, wellness, And it is through balance. When you're in a place of balance or homeostasis in the nervous system, which is what alternate nostril breathing does for us. We're in a place of that bigger path of choice. That middle path is a bigger path of choice. We're not stuck hypo or hyper in our awareness. Balanced, and we can choose to go in any direction, and we're going to in our lives. Sometimes we have to activate, mobilize. Sometimes we need to go and kind of lick our wounds, heal, rest, restore. This middle path of awareness knows when is the right time for which. If you're wondering what to do with your days these days, how to spend your time, alternate nostril breathing is a great place to start. Then make a choice. Drop into your heart center with your awareness. It knows too. And then we're going to come to all fours before we swing our legs around, just to do spinal balance for just a second. Such a wonderful posture for the back. And these days, a lot of sitting, I know, on Zoom, on webinars and all the things we're doing to keep our minds busy. So right leg straight, left hand out, and that's optional. Just keep it on the ground like this. You could just lift the leg, right? As you stabilize through the right hand and the left leg, or option to float the left hand. Make sure, shake out the left hand, making sure we're not rigid through the thumb here. Try to use the spine only to breathe the opposite limbs apart, right? So without pulling from the left arm, can you feel the muscles on either side of the spine, the erector spinatus? That's really energizing, bringing all that information and awareness, the electrical signals from the spine up to the brain, turning on that Wi-Fi system we have. One more big breath here. Can you really feel that connection differently? And then releasing, we're just going to switch sides. Remember, you could just do the arm or just the leg. Inhaling opposite arm and leg. Staying soft through the right thumb. Relax through the neck and the jaw. And again, can you pull the right shoulder and left hip apart energetically, just using the muscles of the spine, really turning on that core awareness too. Finding ujjayi breath, staying calm. And then releasing. And we're just going to simply swing our legs around now as promised, as advertised, coming onto our backs. If you have something for underneath your back, like a block or something, feel free to find it. Keep your strap handy. We're going to go into that release for the legs. So it's all downhill from here in the best way possible. So lowering correctly, you grab one leg, the opposite arm supports us, and then we slowly lower. Wonderful thing to continue to practice. I don't care how old you are. We're going to need the skill as we get older. So I promise. Getting up and down from the floor becomes super important. So we're going to go ahead and lift our hips up, placing the block underneath our sacrum, hands to our belly. If you don't have something under your sacrum, I know you have something in your house. Go grab a towel, blanket. You can always have that handy, or just simply keep your hips to the ground. Finding our bellies, finding where our shoulders meet the earth and allow them to really relax here. Sometimes we're in our houses, we're not outside in beautiful nature. Nature provides such a wonderful modeler of how to be more organic, how to reclaim our natural biorhythms. Nature does not fight what's happening as it goes through its phases. It's in full bloom in summer. It's a beautiful time to get outside. Notice when we're in that natural state, our rhythms automatically realign, right? Our digestive rhythms, our breathing rhythms, our circadian rhythms, we sleep better. So how can we find that place? So maybe imagine a place for you in nature. Maybe you can't go there right now, but the mind, guess what? It doesn't know the difference. It lives in a dark shell. Let's imagine it. Where's your favorite place to be? And then put an intention there. What's the intention, the seed in your heart that we want to germinate? Is it to bring more compassion into the world for yourself and others? Or more strength or power or confidence, determination? And then let's slowly, taking our time, lifting our hips up, moving the block or whatever to the side. This is where we're going to want to find our strap or whatever we're using as a strap. We're going to take the strap around the right leg. I love these, by the way. They're called stretch out straps. You can find them on Amazon. I've been keeping Amazon busy. I'm sure you have too. Yeah. Every day. In fact, got a package last night at 11. Ridiculous. I know I got to get better about that. All right. So option is the left leg can be bent if you want to on this first one, right? Or straight, whatever feels more stable and grounding. And then that's nice about these straps, they have loops in them. So really handy. So you're not gripping with your thumbs. And then just resetting here, this awareness. Remember, we opened that up at the beginning of class to the back of the leg. We can really feel that here, but from a grounded place. So can you find the right hip crease and just allow it to melt back in towards the earth? Feel that awareness to the back of the pelvis, right along the ridge of the pelvis. That's where a lot of our unconscious tension goes. So I know it's a subtle place of awareness there. Can you really find that here? And then let's just go ahead and take the strap just in the right hand. So again, nice, have the loop or just wrap it around the wrist of the right hand. Left hand comes out gently like a wing. And then we got to stay super anchored and grounded through this left side. So we don't want to go too far too fast, keeping the right knee slightly bent. So watch the hyperextension there. Looking to the left, so left shoulder, left hip. So as we go slow, we're only opening to that natural range of motion as the right leg comes out to the side, right? Everybody's hips are super different. Ball and socket joint, some are more mobile than others. More mobile doesn't necessarily mean healthier. Yeah, we all have a flexible range of motion that we'd like to have and keep over a lifetime. That's important. But too much is also not healthy. So let's see if we can find that healthy middle path, even in our range of motion. Things are popping. Let's hope they don't pop out. It is. It feels so good. And then slowly, right leg comes straight up. Let's take our left hand into the strap. Again, right arm releases. You may want to bend the left knee, a little expert hack, right? Hips up and over slightly more to the right, then the left leg goes straight again. What's that going to do? It's going to keep our spine aligned. You'll see this as we slowly bring the right leg over. So this part could really pull us too fast and the right shoulder lifts up. So making sure we're looking to the right shoulder melts, the front of the right shoulder, and then we get this awesome stretch through the IT band area, this awareness there without overdoing it. The more you can breathe awareness and feel that subtle connection from the side of the right sacrum, across the back of the hip there, down the side of the leg. Again, that's where a lot of our stuff goes. That's where a lot of our patterns that get stuck and our mobilization patterns of defense, they kind of go right there. And so let's see what we can clear energetically. What can we clear there? Breathing into the right rib cage, big inhale, exhaling, twisting more. Feel the spine now. And then again, slowly releasing, right leg comes up. Let's just move the strap for a second, bend the left knee. Let's hug the right knee in, flex the foot, maybe curl up into a little ball, pull it in really, really tight. Really release this right side, the whole right side energetically. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then set the right foot down. Let's switch sides. So strap around the left foot. And again, maybe starting with the right foot flat, right knee bent, just to establish that awareness to the back of the pelvis. That feels good. Notice that. Making sure when we're holding the strap that we're not gripping through the shoulders or the sides of the neck. And then awareness to the back body. And especially the left side, option to extend the right leg straight if that feels good. More awareness into the foot. So making sure the toes stay flexed, or I should say fan the toes out, making sure the foot stays active as we protect the knee here too. And let's just take the strap in the left hand only, right arm out like a wing. Again, take the time. Isn't it amazing when you put your consciousness to a part of your body, awareness, the map of that part of the body lights up in the brain. So brain mapping is great, right? Embodiment. But then we can also change how it feels with gravity. So heavier feeling to the right side. Isn't that cool? And then the left side opens up slowly as we maybe turn our gaze to the right. Just allow, again, that natural range of motion. Keeping the left knee slightly bent. Can we relax more to the back side of the right rib cage? Breathing effortlessly through the whole body. And then slowly, a lot of mindfulness here. Left leg comes straight back up. We take our strap in the right hand. Remember the expert move. We place the right foot flat, hips up and over to the left a little bit. Re-extend the right leg straight, and then left arm super slow as the left shoulder stays relaxed as we turn our head to the left. If we go slower in the twist, it becomes a lot more organic and connected. You know, every exhale, we can find that subtle deepening of the twist. You can feel the left outer hip really just melt back into the body here. You can feel the left shoulder just melt back towards the earth. And then again, slowly left leg comes back up to release. Let's take the strap to the side, right knee bends. I should say left knee bends into the body. Again, option to curl up. This time, if you want to add both knees, just hug everything into a super tight ball. Maybe just gently rock on either side of the spine here. It feels good, right? We're getting into the psoas. It holds a lot of our tension. Just letting that go. And then, of course, it's Shavasana time. Now, if you want to do butterfly, you can bring soles of the feet together. You could even put something underneath the thighs to wedge. You can do Shavasana with the legs straight. You can lay on your side. You can lay on your belly. I'm going to come to seated just to talk you through just a little relaxation here. Let's just see if we can come back to our breath. Just notice it. Let's come back to noticing where we are. Where are you? In your room, in your house somewhere, outside, and then feel the air. Feel the air where you're at. What's the temperature? And then feel yourself back into your body onto the mat. Dropping awareness, let's start with the belly. One more time, finding just that relaxed belly breath, melting the sides of the belly. Breathing from deep, deep back into the belly, back towards that middle part of the spine. And then expanding that awareness up into the heart center. Feel it softening to that beautiful chamber that our heart rests in. Can you feel that softness sort of pouring out through the middle places of the ribs? Feeling the sides of the heart chamber soften and expand out. There's a bigger map. The brain, it maps who we are, but the heart already has the map of who we are in the bigger picture. The map of who we are in our heart has no end to it. There's an infinite experience available there. As we bring our awareness to the infinite, then we get out of those small maps of ourselves. Those small maps are what we use to interact in the world in implicit program ways and preconceived notion ways, old story ways. Those are great. They got us to where we are. But that bigger map of where we're going rests in the heart space. You can feel it there. You can feel there's a different awareness there. But it's more subtle. It's been calling. It's been sitting there very patiently. As we come home, this idea of home being in the heart, as we come home to that place in the heart, we realize it's been with us all along. As we expand our intention there, as we plant our intention in our heart, we realize that seed was already planted within us. Feeling connected through the heart space, energetically to one another, to purpose, to our path. To this new world order that we're bringing onto this planet. Stay here as long as you like. We have a long time to get this done. There's work to be done today. But this is the work that world needs to be done. We need to do this kind of work for the world. This is work too, a different kind, but a powerful one. Thank you for doing this work with me. Namaste.